Hey Top Chefies.
Woo woo! Welcome to another episode of Top Chef.
Season 3.
Miami.
Yeah, Miami.
Yes.
We'd like to give a shout out to Piglet112388.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Yes. Okay, so it's Restaurant Wars. Take 2.
I was so excited for this episode.
Me too.
And it really was.
It was
everything that I
power-packed.
dreamed of.
And more. And more for sure. CJ begins the show by rewinding and reminding us why he's known as One Nut.
As you know, or if you didn't know, CJ had testicular cancer, so he's One Nut. They gave the critiques from Andrea Strong to both teams.
And let me tell you, they were like pages long, typed out.
Yeah.
I was really surprised.
There's a lot. So they gave them that so they could see like what their mistakes were and see if they would really take that and run with it. Some
well,
teams
one team did.
Some teams didn't.
Howie's team did. Howie hung
Sarah
Dale.
and
Yes.
Dale.
They really they got to work on that.
Yes, they did.
They were all over that like white on rice.
So they started with the Quickfire challenge, and the prize was that you would get a
sommelier.
yeah, and extra money for wine.
We had a feeling we knew who he would be,
but we won't say it
or
yet.
he or she would be. The name of the challenge was Mise en place relay race.
So basically, a prep line.
Yeah, getting ready for opening.
Yep.
So one chef had to shuck 15 oysters. The second chef had to finely dice 5 onions. Yeah, I would have been crying. There's no way I would have done the onions.
I wouldn't even be in the same room.
Yeah, one had to break down 4 chickens, which I could do in like 5 seconds. Yeah. And the last chef had to separate 3 eggs and beat the whites firmly until they, when held upside down for 5 seconds.
Without it falling.
Correct. Okay, so first up, who was it?
Howie for the garage, as it was known then, and Brian
Howie
for
versus
Team April.
Brian.
They were doing the oysters, and come on, Brian is a seafood chef.
I know.
So of course he finished first on that one.
By a lot.
Yeah. There was like 5 oysters.
He kind of whipped Howie's butt there, but Howie admittedly was not very fast on the oysters.
But he still kept it close.
He tried, yeah.
It was like he wasn't so far back that they couldn't win.
He didn't give up. He kept plugging along. Good job, Howie.
So then Casey started earlier than Sarah on the onions.
Right. Let me tell you, it was painful to watch Casey chopping those onions.
This was Team April's downfall.
I think my dog, lacking opposable thumbs, could have chopped the onions
Casey
quicker
was
than her.
like,
and then... and that was 1/10 of an onion.
And Sarah was just tearing
Sarah was
it
like...
up. She was like, yeah, she was like... like on SpongeBob.
Yeah.
It was insane.
It was just like Krabby Patties.
So Sarah beat out Casey even though she started after.
Such a lead off of Casey.
It was a huge lead.
It was insane.
So then Hung started early on the chickens.
Freaking Hung was practically ripping those things limb from limb.
I know.
I mean, he was done in like 2 seconds.
Tom was like, whoa.
Tom was like, you're hired.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Trey
Not
started
so much.
way later, so he didn't even have a chance.
Yeah. And Dale on those egg whites.
Beating those eggs.
He's going to be arrested for a little domestic violence on those eggs. And CJ didn't even have a chance to do anything.
I don't think CJ even got
I don't even think he got started.
So needless to say, the garage won.
Yes. And they got Steven!
Season 1 Steven. Crazy ass Steven.
I love Steven.
Me too. I hated him at first when he was on the show, but then
it's because
towards the
we
end,
didn't understand him. Okay, so the crazy ass designer, who was so rude, is Madonna's brother.
of course,
Christopher Ciccone. I knew it.
the same bee-hole from the challenge
The previous
before.
week, yeah. Ugh, so annoying. But at least they took his advice. Those
did have
places
some
were
good
looking pretty
concepts.
hot when he was done with them.
Except for the quote around the wall.
I didn't like that. It
It
was
was
a
like
little
a
bit
cafe.
too au bon pain, you know?
No, I don't know, but we'll keep going.
Okay. Alright,
For this round, since it's the second shot at this, they upped the ante, and
oh,
they
that's
had
right.
to have at least 2 choices for each course.
Right. And they were serving twice as many people.
Yes.
April's menu,
Team April.
Team April, was the wild king salmon and a seared scallop.
It's or. I'm sorry, I want it to be good.
Okay. Team April's menu consisted of a wild king salmon or a seared scallop for the first course.
Course 2.
Carrot ginger soup and a lobster or lobster salad.
Course 3
would be a monkfish or a beef tenderloin. And they threw in a little bread pudding because Trey was so yeah.
He was just like, alright, I could do this with my eyes closed. I could do this while I'm sleeping.
Yeah. Okay, Trey, you do that. And the guest judge was Geoffrey Zakarian.
I'm not going to attempt that.
He's the chef owner of Town and Country in Manhattan.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so the garage...
Which changed their name
to...
Cut.
Yes, which means 4 in French.
Quattri.
Okay, so... Gnocchi with poussin. They had originally planned on rabbit, but the store only had 2. Right. So they went with the... It's like a pigeon almost. Yeah.
They said it was like a baby chicken.
Right. Which to me is like a little pigeon. Or Cornish hen. Like that.
So you could either have that or Hung's
Your
tuna
favorite.
tuna tartare. It looks like Jell-O.
I love it. Okay. And then a lamb. It looked like a lamb chop.
Or a halibut.
Yes. And let me tell you, that lamb was cooked to perfection.
If you're into eating raw animals.
And then the third course was a crepe or panna cotta with berries.
So they had a little bit different strategy. They
totally revamped everything.
Like eating courses. And then the third one was dessert.
Oh, I thought you meant because they had totally revamped everything.
Well, that too, but I mean, like, their setup was different.
Right. And the other team's approach was that they barely changed anything.
Because their service was so great.
Yeah, they just tried to refine stuff because they thought that they were so great. So great, so great.
So this week was a little different because Tom was staying in the kitchen the whole challenge.
I want to be a chef. I want to hang out with Tom in the kitchen and have him eat at my table.
Or I'd just rather eat his food.
Yeah. Stephen, let me tell you, that boy knows how to use a sword. That was the most exciting thing out of the whole show, I think, was Stephen. Just bring back Stephen and give him his own show.
Put him on right after Tim Gunn.
Yes.
September 6th.
Yes, I'll be there. The only trouble with Stephen, though, he's a chatterbox.
Blah, 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 blah.
I don't know if I could deal with that.
I know. But he's so, like, weird funny.
He's so smart. He'd make me feel stupid instantly, but I'd love it. Okay, so Cat did really well.
Yes, they did.
They really, every dish that they brought out pretty much was great.
I don't think they had bad reviews on anything, really.
The worst review was Dale's outfit.
Yeah. April, on the other hand, not so lucky.
Not so good at all. The salmon, car wreck. Everybody was like, this is the worst dish I ever ate.
They actually said that it was like disgusting and terrible.
Right.
You usually don't hear that on Top Chef.
Forgettable. Yeah, really, it's very rare that you hear that. The lobster. Salty. The bread pudding. Honey, the apples were undercooked.
Yeah.
WTF.
Trey, I thought you could do this in your sleep.
I know.
WTF.
Well, yeah, the winner was Cat, hands down.
Like, we didn't see that coming. But the individual winner was Sarah.
Good job, Sarah.
I was pretty happy with that because I think she deserved it.
I didn't like her at first because I thought she had kind of a little attitude.
Yeah, but she's growing on me.
She worked really well with Howie.
This week, yeah.
And Hung. Hung was like her little puppy. He was digging it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the main problem with Team April, they were overconfident.
Or arrogant.
Or cocky. Cocky even. Okay, so the big shocker of the week.
Oh my gosh. It's making me yawn.
I know. Trey, pack your knives and go.
What?
I mean, I'll be the first to admit that I didn't
like his
Trey,
personality.
Yeah, I didn't like his personality at all. But let me tell you, he was probably one of the best chefs there.
He was one of the front runners. I thought he was going to be in the finals.
Ego ain't pretty, honey. It ain't
That's
pretty.
like Cliff last year. He got kicked off for
He got kicked
being
off
a fool.
Well, he held down Marcel. Yeah, he was a great cook.
That's not really the same thing, but it's just one of those shockers when you think he would make it to the end.
Yep. But poor Trey. I mean, he really worked hard to get where he was.
Yeah.
And to go because he took on too much. That's sad.
Yep.
So Trey, we feel you.
We're feeling for you.
But now we have 7 left. We have to move on to next week, which looks crazy.
Yeah, it looks really good.
I can't wait. So, till next week, Top Chefers. Much love.